Muggy, I am your father. No! It's more like Novaros, this 28.8 Rex Legend would be going P5, Novarosi. Oh, no, it'll be like this. Here we go. Since this is the father, Reds, if you guys know or don't know, FYI, owned by the son of the late, great Caesar Novarossi, the original founder of Novarossi Engines. So this would be like Novaros the father, and that would be like the son. So it would be like Reds, I am your father. Because Novarossi would say, I am your father, Reds. And then the Reds would be like, no! Muggy's being a little bit crazy. What up, people? Muggy Maniac is doing a little bit of wrenching. We got some grub going on here. Oh, snaps. What you people know about that? You don't even know what that... You know what that is? Some people will probably say, oh, it looks like menudo. Well, kind of, but not. That's called pozole. I don't really care for menudo. Is notorious for being, as far as us Mexicans, best for hangovers. Well, anybody. So when I used to drink, that's what, or people that drink, I don't drink anymore. Thank God. Glory to be to God, man. Because if I was still drinking, there would be no Muggy Maniac. It would be muggy mess. But anyway, I've been clean and sober from drinking coming up on 8 years now. So, knock on wood. But actually, like I said, God gets all the glory. But anyway, you would eat menudo. This isn't menudo, by the way. You would eat menudo for hangovers. Somehow, I don't know why. And menudo has hominy. It has, you know, a bunch of different ingredients in it. But the other main ingredient is, it's called tripas. Or not tripas. Whatchamacallit? The tripe. I can't even think of the name. Which is lining from the cow's stomach. Okay. It's okay. I can eat it, but I really don't care for it. But I love the hominy. The hominy, the juice in there and everything. So anyway, this is pozole, which instead of having the tripe in there, you have chunks of pork. This, by the way, I'm a little fired up right now, so there's going to be a little ranting, a little bit of shit talking. I got a lot of newbies hitting me up about, so this video is mainly going to be what I do after I'm done running my vehicles, the procedures I go through. I'm going to give you guys a couple tips. You guys, there's all different kinds of ways that people do maintenance after they're done running their whips. The biggest thing is you don't want to leave nitro fuel anywhere, because whether you know or don't know, that nitro fuel turns into nitromethane. Will, once it dissipates, it turns into water. Well, it leaves moisture, which for a nitro engine, fuel lines, tank, etc., is no bueno. So what you want to do is, you know, get all the biggest thing is to remember what had fuel going through it: tank, lines, engine, pipe. You need to get all that out of there. Okay, now I'm going to show you what I do. I also have a lot of newbies that have been asking me a couple other things as far as tips on different pipes that I run. But I'm not going to do. I'm not trying not to go all over the place. But the main thing is preventive. I say prevention is better than the cure. And you guys have probably heard that before. Which means, yes, you can fix stuff later or something, but stuff like that happens because people don't take precautionary measures as far as upkeep and maintaining. Probably one of the biggest things. And I even heard JQ, and we're going to talk a little about JQ. I've been watching a lot of JQ. That shit's funny. But anyway, this is R-rated. This is going to be some R-rated nitro porn. So pull up a chair, grab some popcorn, grab a soda, grab a beer, whatever you drink, glass of wine, preferably some pozole, whatever, and put the kids in bed because it's going to be probably about a 45 to an hour video. Also, a lot of newbies have been asking me, because obviously a lot of people are doing a lot of wrenching. They're like, man, Muggy, we missed those 45-minute, hour-long videos. But then, you know, because I used to get people that would say both, oh, man, your videos are too long, you need to shorten them. But I get more people, go figure, that want hour videos. I guess it's because a lot of people don't do hour videos. So if you're wrenching, like when you watch Adam Drake, or when you watch, you know, other people like Bodegel, their videos are like maybe 20, 30 minutes, and then you got to find something else. And if you're like me, when I get into my wrenching and I'm full tilt in wrench mode, I'm wrenching for hours, non-stop. I mean, I got to go to the bathroom, grab something to drink, but I'm wrenching. So, I guess a lot of people like my hour-long videos. But anyway, we're going to do a little ranting. We're going to do a little wrenching. Well, all this whole the Mugen MBX7 that you guys seen run on the last video, we're going to talk about this engine. We're going to run it again because now we're going to put the Badlands on it. We're going to put some Big Paws on it, okay? Take off the street shoes, okay? The sprinting shoes, and we're going to put on the hiking boots, so to speak. We're going to put these babies on, and we're going to rip it. Not with that body. They just don't match, but yeah, I like to match. But anyway, hold on one second. Hold that thought. Give me a second. I need to grab my energy drink. Alright. Because when we're wrenching, we gotta party like a rock star. I love this one. This is the grape. For those of you that like grape, pop this open, take a sip. Like, I need it. Sometimes I'm so naturally fired up, people are like, Muggy, that's the last thing you need is an energy drink. By the way, this album came out, Master of Puppets, probably my favorite Metallic album. 1986 was the year that I was supposed to graduate. Yes, I'm a high school dropout, but I went and got my GED, so I mean, I didn't graduate with my actual class. Trust me, when I was in high school, I was a, you know what, F up. Well, look at the times. During the 80s. I don't want to get into that. It's a whole nother video. Anyway, so the very first thing, and before I get into this and show you exactly, and this is actually, I haven't ran this body. This was one of my, the Muggy's custom body, or some people used to call it cartoon bodies, or anybody can put stickers on it. Let me tell you, not a lot of people do this. This is not easy to do, okay? This stuff here that I've done to these few bodies that I've done, this shit is not easy. It's a lot of work. This one is probably my favorite so far. This came out the best. I did add a couple, you know, carbon fiber, the wraps on it here and there. Did the carbon fiber on the wing. Did kind of similar on the wing of my, you guys see my 5E. But anyway, this body I haven't ran hardly. I figure, you know what? I can't keep these bodies looking pretty like this forever. This one I really don't like to run. I've actually put a couple trophies on it already, as you guys can see right here. A couple scuffs on the roof. A couple scuffs on the front. Didn't mess up Kratos' face. But I might do another God of War. I'd like to do, like Mr. Za has a whole God of War. The whole Kratos in the front, the whole thing. I think Gamble did that for him, whatever his name is. But anyway. I haven't ran this in a long time. I might be a little random. You guys are probably used to it. You know how the Muggy is. But anyway, favorite Metallica album, 1986, Master of Puppets. That whole album, from the first song, Master of Puppets, the title, from the beginning to the end, just that type of music where you just want to put on some steel-toe boots and kick somebody in the face. It's a mosh pit music. But this album, yeah, it's just non-stop from the beginning to the end. Master of Puppets, one of my favorite, if not my favorite all-time Metallica album. I think that's pretty much when they, from there on, they just blew up. But anyway, yeah, that's the type of music you listen to, and I call it violent music. It's just fighting music. But it's badass, I love it. But anyway, so I get a lot of questions on pipes. What pipe works with this? What pipe you suggest for this engine? What pipe you suggest for that engine? So, really quick, I don't want to get in too much into it because this video, like I said, is mostly on maintaining and upkeeping right after you get done running. Like the procedures that you should go through after you run your whip. Another quick tip, for your plugs easier to get out, you take a piece of fuel line, and I don't know if you can even see it in there. I glue a little piece of, you got to cut it to the right length, so, and you got to get the right fuel lines, because some of them are a little bit smaller diameter, and put it in there. That way when you go to take your plug out, because these are good, these dynamite wrenches are, you know, really good plug wrenches, just because of, you know, the handle and everything. But see, normally with that one you wouldn't be able to pull it out. You had to pliers or tip it upside down. By putting that little rubber hose in there, it makes it so you can pull out your plug and put it in a lot easier. So, little tip for you. But these are a couple of my favorite pipes. I love this 2148. Now, let me tell you something real quick. The 2148 Triton with the header that it comes on it is probably one of the best pipes I've ever ran, for the simple fact that you can run it on stock engines, modded engines, 21s, 28s, 32s, pretty much anything, and you will see the performance increase. It's really, really similar. Matter of fact, if you look at it, yes, like I said, I am OCD. I'm not polishing and spending all the time shining these things up to just let them sit out and get tarnished, because they will over time. This keeps them, once I clean them, they stay like that, sealed in this, until I'm ready to use them. Okay, that's just something I do. Sometimes I'll even mark, you know, so I remember what pipe it is, because sometimes the pipes, once they start to get a little faded, you can't see what the number of the pipe is. But this is a 2046 Pico. I've been running this, as you guys noticed, on the 21s, and stock or modded 21s, again, this is a badass pipe. And if you look at it, look at that, and the Triton pipe, very, very similar. Okay, so I highly recommend this pipe or this pipe for modified or stock 21s if you just want straight across the board power. Bottom, mid, and top. Okay. Another good pipe that I recommend on .21s, but mostly only stock, is the D901 Super Strong over OC with the 41021 header. That combo is probably the best pipe that I've used for stock engines. Okay, again, bottom, mid, and top. It depends what you're looking for. Most people when they're racing, they're looking for something that's fuel economy, but it's got punch on the bottom, good mid, and a little bit of top. Depending on the type of track you're running on, how big it is. As far as for bashing, I mostly want pipes that are across the board. good bottom, good mid, good top. Obviously, if I'm looking to do speed runs, you just want mostly top. But I like the bottom and the mid. That's how I've always been. So this Triton 2148, I highly recommend it. It's like $100 with the header from RC Renew. It's a badass header, and the thing I like about it is, unlike the 9886 Super Strong, which is another one of my favorite headers, this is the best on modded 32s and 28s. On modded .21, it's okay, but I would use this pipe on a modded 21 or stock, and the Pico 2046. Now, another really good pipe that I've used a lot too is the Works 2058 with the stock header. This is also a bottom, mid, and a little bit of top. It's good across the board, so I also recommend this pipe as well, but only on .21s. Okay, mostly stock, modded, it's okay. So that's a little bit of my take on pipes. 28s and 32s, if you're running them stock, this is probably one of the best pipes you can run. A 9986 Super Strong and a 41032 doesn't really do anything on a stock 28 or 32. You're better off running something like this, or another good pipe header to run on that is the 4100, I believe it's the 41001 or the 41002 with the 986. But the 41032 header, I see people running them on stock. This header is best for modded engines, especially 28s and 32s. So yeah, that's my little 2 cents on pipes. If I was going to race, I would probably run this Triton, or I would run this Pico 2046. I really like it. Or, like I said, the 9901 Super Strong with the 41021, because obviously you're going to be running stock engines on most tracks if you're racing. So, anyway, that's my little bit of pipe knowledge there. And there's other pipes too, but for 21s, most of you guys would probably run in stock. 2148 Triton, 9901 with the 41021, and the Pico 2046 if you can find them. They're out there here and there. And the Works, that's a good pipe for stock 21s too. That Works pipe's a badass pipe. Works 2058, that's the header that comes on there. I think you might be able to still get them from A-Main. They're like $80 or something, so. Alright, oh man, I gotta use the restroom. Alright people, I will, hold that thought. Okay, we're back. Whew, nature was calling. That's what happens when you drink a couple of these babies. And I had to pause a little bit so I can take a couple heaping spoons of this. This shit is the bomb. Never had it, try it. It's called pozole, okay? If you're not Mexican, get Mexican. I'm just kidding. Most Hispanics have had it. I haven't had it in a long time, so it's from scratch, man. This shit is the bomb. But anyway, so one of the things that I use for capping off my engines, let me take this, I'm going to take this body off, get into this thing here. Like I said, everything in here has been already cleaned. I kind of loosened everything up, kept everything loose so I can show you what I do. But these come in when you buy low C shock oil. If you guys have ever bought low C shock oil or use it, you know these caps are in there and they fit perfect, because you don't want to get anything inside here, the carburetor, or obviously when you take the plug out, or back in here. Okay, if you do get dirt in there, no bueno. See the engine? Say bye-bye. Depending on what you get in there. So, anyway, I'm going to show you exactly what I do as soon as I'm done running. Again, I mentioned I've been watching a lot of the JQ videos. Man, that guy is so funny, bold, brash, up front. He doesn't hold any punches. Kind of reminds me of me. Oh, that sounds like I'm explaining the Muggy, because you know how I've always been. My name is Chuck, and I don't give a fuck. Okay, if you don't like what I say, go watch another video. Keep scrolling. Keep trolling. Keep rolling on. Unsubscribe. Thumbs down. Well, it doesn't matter. Okay? Like I said, the people that give me thumbs down, thumbs up to you because you're my most loyal viewers. Probably more loyal than even some of my subscribers. It's funny how you get all these subscriptions. And let me talk a minute about this. One of the things that's funny. A lot of people criticize other people in this hobby about, their channel and their subscribers and their this. Listen, mine, you can look at mine. At least I can say from the time since I can remember, I have always got around a 70 to sometimes 80%, 90% view. Like I said, if you have, we'll just use the 1,000 mark because everybody wants to hit that initial 1,000. If you're hitting 1,000 subscribers and on your best day you could barely get 400 views, well, you need to take a step back and take a look at what you're doing, because nobody really gives a fuck is what those numbers are telling you. And that doesn't just go for, it goes for a lot of people. And the same with me. If people aren't watching what I'm putting out there, if I'm, not getting any views, then why the hell am I even doing this? So I could hear myself talk? Some people would probably say, of course, Muggy, you'd like to hear. No, I have other things to do. You guys notice I haven't been uploading videos but maybe once a week. I've kind of cut it back. But again, I got a lot of requests from a lot of my subscribers, a lot of newbies, about this subject. Hey, what do you do? When you're done running your vehicle, can you go through, what you do to your engine, what you do to store your stuff? Because if you ever looked at any of my stuff, and you guys can obviously see, I run my shit, and it gets pretty dirty. And obviously on the street, it doesn't get as dirty, even though all that oil residue from the fuel builds up. I mean, and these vehicles that I have got, just these 3 vehicles alone here, got over 10 gallons. Probably maybe closer to 20 gallons of fuel through all of them. And people had asked me too, do you overrun your stuff? It looks too clean. Yeah, I clean my shit. There isn't anybody, well, maybe one that's even close. And that, shout out to this guy, because he takes care of and cleans his shit. And that's Woogie Nitro. That guy cleans, and, he learned a little, I'm not going to sit here and toot my horn, but he learned a lot of stuff from me. There isn't anybody that's cleaner than me. Why? And I'm not just saying that just to, toot my own horn. I have OCD. It's a real disease. And it runs in my family. Remember what I do? I do industrial, basically I'm an industrial detailer. As far as working in machining and metal, and when you're polishing, this thing starts out not like this, obviously. This starts out or something like this, raw. To get it to that, it takes art, man. It takes a lot of work, and what I do, I work with a lot of metals and aluminum in what I do is for a living. And I'm OCD at making sure that when it's done, that it looks fresh. But I've always been like that. My dirt bikes, anything. I've always had to work ever since I got out of high school. Nobody gave me nothing. Nobody's ever given me anything. But support, maybe. But I've always worked. I've been working since I was right before out of high school even. Okay, so I always take care of my shit. And I see a lot of people out there, especially all these whips, this Mugen, this Techno, that one Tech, I bought them from all guys that race. And they were in really good shape until I got to the internals of it, and they were a wreck. Corrosion, rust. Guys that race are the filthiest, dirtiest bastards I've ever seen. And don't take that personal, or, take it how you want. If it applies, if it doesn't apply, let it fly out. The Muggy always says, if it applies, the shoe fits, wear that shit. Man up. People are crybabies. Oh, you hurt my feeling. You said my TLR wasn't... Man, if that's you, don't watch me. Okay, definitely don't watch me. Because you will get your ass hurt all the time. Because I don't hold any punches. And that's what I like about JQ. But to get back to what we're talking about, this vehicle right here has got at least 20 gallons of fuel throw, maybe more. And look, this thing is immaculate because I take care of my shit. People are like, man, you're crazy, Muggy. How you tear down your vehicles every time you run them? Practically. Not super OCD. I always run them, I said before, 3 to 4 times depending on where I'm running it at. Especially, that's what's cool about running in that grass area, even though it has a little bit of dirt and everything, is because your shit doesn't get that dirty. But it still gets dirty. These exhaust fumes, when they come out, blow all that shit on here, they get dirty. Okay? Now, if you run them in dirt, obviously people that race, your shit gets dirty. If I was racing, I would be tearing down my shit every time I was done for the weekend race. After that race was over that weekend, or those 3 days, my shit would look like it was better than brand new. That's just me, though. And I know, like I said, I know how racers are because all of my shit, I've bought all my whips from guys that raced. And they are filthy, dirty bastards, okay? And I don't mean that personally. The problem sometimes is people, you give them the truth about their whip and they get all butthurt like you just slapped their mom. That's retarded. Those people like that need therapy. And like I told you before, if you need some therapy, I got some therapy for you right here. This foot up your ass. So anyway, don't get me started. But the Techno buggy here, we just did a full refresh. Look at that. Bam! I finally did it. I wasn't going to do it. Thought of replacing, getting an MTC chassis, but I have another brand new chassis. Remember, when I got this, I got a lot of extra stuff. So I have a brand new, never used NB 48.3 chassis. And somebody else asked me about, I heard somebody talking about Technos. Techno has 4 buggies. Okay? They have the NB 48. They have the NB 48.3. Mine's the second version, which is identical to that. I thought I had a 4. I was actually glad because this buggy and this truggy are brother and sister, or whatever you want to call it. This NT 48.3 is the same exact as that buggy, just truggy and a buggy. And the only difference is length of the chassis, width of the arms, and a few other things. And obviously all the drive shafts are longer on a truggy than on the buggies, okay? And then that's the second version. Then there's the 48.4, which Woogie has. Then there's the 48 2.0. So there's 4 Techno buggies ever made. And they're about to come out, like I said before, finally with, I guess it's going to be basically the 2.0 that they have out buggy right now. It's going to be the same like that, but truggy, which means if you haven't, people that have the 2.0 buggies, all it's going to be is the same thing, a longer chassis, longer arms. Obviously, body mount's different to put the truggy body on, and drive shaft's longer. But all the other stuff's going to be the same. So I might get one, I might not. I don't know. There's really no reason. I put so much. That new truggy, when it comes out, won't have this chassis. This chassis is sick. Unless they change the chassis design, which they might. I don't know how much different the 2.0 chassis is from this or their other buggies. But anyway, so yeah, people don't take care of your shit. I don't understand it. That just drives me crazy. I can't handle it. You don't have to super OCD it every time you run it. But I do a pretty good external cleaning of my whip. Not just the stuff that I'm going to show you, but I do a lot of other stuff. This thing, just from running it out on the road, this thing had a lot of road grime, oil everywhere. This, remember, because exhaust is coming here, this whole side on your whips always gets caked with exhaust fumes. Okay? But there's a certain way that I do things to clean, and like I said, I don't want to leave any fuel anywhere that it went through, which means you got to get it out of your lines, tank, pipe, and your engine. So all this stuff, the whole center, I always take it out. But anyway, that's just me. But it was funny. I was to touch on what JQ was talking about. He's kidding. They're telling him cease and whatever it was, whatever that letter he got. I seen on his last video. I don't know if you guys seen it. That shit was funny because he was talking shit about TLR, and you guys seen it on my last video. That little part I put in there. And he was calling them TLR stands for Team Loser Racing, TLR stands for Team Losers and Rejects, or Team Losers and Retards, and Losi got all butthurt. That's crazy, man. I can't believe Losi even sent him that letter. You know, obviously they're trying to get something out of him because JQ has his own company. And that's another thing about JQ. A lot of people in racing don't like that guy. Just like a lot of people on YouTube, majority of people on YouTube and HScale Nitro don't like me. Because, for whatever reason, all I've ever done is keep it real. I don't care. I'm not here to, you know, blow smoke up anybody's ass. If you don't like what I say, you don't have to watch it. A lot of this stuff is my opinions, but a lot of my stuff that I tell you, I back it up. Because, unlike some people, I don't just run my mouth on all my videos. I actually get out there and run my shit. Name a person, and I don't know anybody, and I asked this before, who runs modded engines, not just of the modded engines by one person. I have 3 different modders that I, especially on my 28s. We're going to run the RCR coming up. We're running the TNS. We're going to run the RB mods. I have RB mods motors, and I have RCR. So I'm not just, you know, catering to RCR because I've got a dozen engines modded through him. Remember, I have 3 engines that I got modded through Rick, which I'll even give credit to where credit's due. This Team Edition right here is the engine, the single longest lasting engine I have with the most fuel. This thing's got almost 15 gallons of fuel through it. Yes, it's Byron's 3011. Probably, you know, until they come up with something better, is the best fuel ever made. Why do I say that? Not just because me. You can ask all professional engine builders. Okay, they'll tell you the same thing. Best fuel ever made was Byron's 3011. Even Chris Nelson, the owner of the TNR, he even said that's what I'm getting excited about TNR fuel, because that fuel is going to be based off of off of Byron's fuel. Chris and the other guys that are part of creating that fuel are all Byron's guys. They ran Byron's for years and years and years, and they will tell you too that they think Byron's was the best fuel ever made, and they were bummed out when it was gone. And that's why they decided to come out with something as good or better, which is killer, man, because I can't wait. And at $40 a gallon, I'm all in. I already talked to Chris Nelson, and I was like, okay, let me know when you get that fuel going, because I'm going to be your first guinea pig. And I'll give you guys my honest review on it. I might like it, I might not like it, who knows. But anyway, to get back to what we're talking about, you know, JQ was, I guess, Horizon and TLR, you know, and that's why I did a video in the past. I think it's got like 1,000, 2,000 views or something. It was called, you guys can go look it up, The End of a Dynasty. And I talked about how when Adam Drake left TLR, that was it. TLR has been gone, as far as in my eyes, competitiveness and everything, especially when Horizon took over. And a lot of people don't like to hear that, but that's the truth, man, and I'm going to keep it real. And you could talk to anybody that knows anything. As long as Horizon controls TLR and Losi, they're doomed. They're never going to develop anything as far as racing. I mean, Dakota Fan is one of the fastest drivers on the circuit. Anybody that knows anything about racing, and you look at all the statistics, you know that. But because of the lack of support and because of the development part of TLR, because of Horizon, he can't even get in the top 10. That 8X hasn't got in the top 10 total world standings in the world in the almost 3 years that it's been out. That's a joke. You know, I will not be surprised. Mark my words. And if it doesn't happen, I will be very shocked. But I will not be surprised if the 8X's Nitros aren't discontinued. Okay, the only reason they did it electric and nitro is because they're not catering to to nitro that much. They're catering to what makes money, because if anybody knows anything about this hobby or Horizon is a distribution company. Just in. Fun fact, Horizon is not a hobby company. They're a distribution company. That's why I don't give a flying rat's ass about anything but what makes money. So, anyway, I can get into a whole nother video of that. Let's get into this. I just wanted to bring that up because I get a lot of people asking me those questions. And by the way, this engine here, this is the modded. Somebody said, "Hey, you're selling your Virtus, your modded Virtus." I said, "Well, where'd you hear of that? Are you fucking retarded? You can't read? Does my ad that I had on Facebook say it's modded?" Somebody said it's modded. I said, whoever said that is a fucking retard and can't read. Why would I sell my modded engine? I'm not crazy. The only reason I'm even selling the other one is because I don't even run it. Why would I want it? Why would I keep an engine? I mean, yes, it's Novarossi, but I'm like, you know, because there it is right here. Okay? You tell me where you're going to find a 7-port, full ceramic Virtus, okay, for $300 or, well, I mean, you're even going to find one. I think I dropped the price a little bit. I just don't need it. There's no reason for me to have it. This modded one's still brand new. That one that I just showed you, I don't even got a gallon through it. It's maybe got a half gallon. You can go look at the pictures. I even pulled everything apart and you can look at it. There's barely any carbon on it. It got broken in. Probably has about maybe 15 tanks. Maybe 20 tanks. Not even that. Including the break-in. Well, do the math. 125 cc's. Times 20. It's not even a gallon. So anyway, just to you know, clear the air on that, that engine is like pretty new. Okay, it's not even an engine isn't fully broken in until you run at least 4 to 5 gallons through it. Anybody knows that. Okay, I think I worded it funny. I didn't even pay attention to that, and that was my fault. That is the way I put it, stupid, but I changed it. But anyway, I think it's like 275. Heck, if somebody gives me $250, I'll take it. I might even take 200 for it. I really don't need it, you know. But you're not going to find any Virtuses like this at all. 9 ports, there's a few. They're like 270 or 280 or, well, I don't know, because all the ones I've seen have steel bearings in them. These 2 Virtuses that I have are full ceramics, front and rear. Okay, so if you want a nasty engine, badass, full ceramic bearings that you can still send in and get it modded and make it even nastier. You'll see. When I run this thing, you will see. This thing modded, you know, we know that the Reds is a badass. That's why if you look here, it's on the higher pedestal. This is the rating. This is my ranking. This one's a little bit higher up than that one because this is the king of my 21 so far. And that one's not too far behind. That P5 is a badass engine too. Both of them modded by RCR. But we're gonna, like I said, I haven't really ran this thing that hard. Okay, we're gonna, you know, throw the same clutch, same setup, everything. The only thing different on this one is we're running the Triton 2148 pipe. We're gonna run it, and we're gonna see how it compares to those two. So you guys will see. I was gonna do my truggies, but I don't feel like running the 28 and the 32. I want to run this thing. We're going to get nasty, get sideways. We're going to send it. We're going to pull full throttle, full tilt, full throttle run, hit the little incline, and we're going to launch this bitch, okay? And we're going to rip this thing and see what it's... I'm going to do some speed runs first. And I'll probably do it up at that area that I run in the next couple days. We're going to rip it on the ground, do some speed runs on it, dial it in. Then after we're done doing that, then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and throw the meats on there, the Badlands, okay, and we'll start sending it. Alright, so anyway, that's coming up, and then we also are going to run this again. I changed the clutch in it. I didn't like the way the bottom end was on it, so we'll see if that helps. Change the clutch shoes, and instead of having, I usually run light and medium on modded engines. I'm running all mediums. Remember, modded engines, you don't need to run heavy springs. Okay? They don't need help. Stock engines, yeah, they need a little help. Modded engines, unless it's good for shits and giggles, but it'll destroy your, and you'll go through clutch shoes if you run heavy springs on modded engines. So, alright, I think that's about all I wanted to cover as far as my little bit of ranting. Anything else that I'm forgetting? I don't think so. Shout out shout out to one guy that the only guy that I see that's putting in the work. Wookie Nitro, man. That guy, and you guys know our past, and it doesn't mean we're gonna go out and grab a bite to eat anytime soon. But you know what? We're all Nitro brothers, and he said his piece. I said my piece, and we can let bygones be bygones. To say I wish we could all get along, all of us, that ain't ever gonna happen. And maybe in a perfect Nitro world, if there is such a thing. But hey, if we can just coexist, bashers and racers, it doesn't matter. It's all Nitro. We're all the same. We're all one big family. Things that I won't put up with is people lying, people talking shit, people acting like what they aren't, and what they never will be. And there's a lot of them called wannabes. They do a lot of talking, they do a lot of yapping, and they do less of putting their money where their mouth is, which is getting out there, ripping your shit. Don't just talk about it, be about it, I'm the one that said that plenty of times, and, if people copy me, whatever, I don't bitch and complain about it anymore. Hey, all of the best ideas are stolen, right? Another bad song, Orion. It's all instrumental, but I love the song. But anyway, so, what does the muggy do after he's done running? And why is the muggy's shit always... This pipe has about 15 gallons through it. This is like my original 9886 Super Strong and 41032 header. Look at that. I mean, it's got some scratches. There's no dings. I don't have any dings in my pipes. No scratches, but... I mean, there's scratches in it. But look how clean that is. That's how you take care of a pipe, people. Alright? But anyway, first thing I do, before I do anything, before I take any lines off, before I take any plug out, paintbrush. You don't have... I take this out in the field with me. This is perfect. Because you don't have a compressor when you're out there. I don't even bring my stuff back to the pad until it's semi-clean. I don't like chugging dirt back. Okay, but anyway, this stuff comes in handy. It's like $4, $4 or $5. So I air off around here, because obviously that's going to be coming off. Okay, the air filter. By the way, highly, highly recommended if you can. Motor saver, outerwear. If you can't run the motor saver, run the outerwear. If you love your engine and your engine's badass, and especially if it's a tie-in and it's modified and you got, time and energy into it, take care of it, man. Run outerwear. It's highly recommended. So anyway, air out in here. So I'll do a little bit of air in here, inside, a little bit around here. That way, when I take the plug out, I don't got nothing falling in. Then what I do is, this is a good time where you can do a lot of inspection to make sure you didn't loosen anything up or you didn't break anything. That's when I'll do like a, like they call it like a 10-point inspection when you go get your car checked, stuff like that. But anyway, there's my plug from the last time we ran it. Look at that. And I was running it rich. Look at that. Can you guys see it? Focus. Look at that. That plug's money. Money in the bank. Now there's another thing another tip I'll give you. And I learned this from a guy a while back. It's called seasoning your plug. When you first put a brand new plug in, you want to get it nice and seasoned, because once it's seasoned and it has a little bit of buildup on it, it just protects it and it'll last a little bit. You'll get a longer life out of your plugs. I know I have. So that's why I'll run it rich for, maybe a good half a tank or a tank. Then I'll start leaning it out a little bit. I try to. I don't always do it, but I try to. So anyway, when I pull my plug out, the first thing I do is I bump it on the bump box a couple times. Preferably do it when your engine's still warm. If not, heat it up a little bit, because you don't want to do cold bumps. It's not really good for your engine, but I'll bump it a few times. Okay, and then after I bump it, that's just kind of I'm trying to clear all the fuel out of it. Make sure that you close your fuel, your high-end needle, close it off a little bit, or do like I do. I take them off and I plug up the ends of the lines. So there's no fuel when I bump it continuing to go through. That defeats the purpose. So I clear it to get all the fuel cleared out of it. I pull my tank just like this. This is another little thing I just put on here. What is that for? That's for whenever if you put a little, because I put a little bit of grease on my pinion and my spur. It just helps them last longer, less wear on them. I know Adam Drake recommends that. Some people do, some people don't. But the problem is when that stuff spits off and your pipe's hot, it gets on your pipe and that shit is hard to get off. So what I did is I took this little piece of aluminum, glued a little flap on there, so when this is in here like this, when that's in here like that, it's protecting the pipe from getting all the grease splattered on it. So I see how it works. I haven't ran it yet like that. But anyway, also this, you can put aluminum tape on here, and this is to keep the pipe from melting the side, because it will get hot on your pipe here, and it will eventually start melting the side of your tank. Also, I put it in the front, so just in case if you ever have your flywheel come loose, if you don't have something like that there, it'll put a hole in the side of your tank. Seen it before. Happened to me. Didn't go all the way through, but I've had it where it almost did. So anyway, that's why I put it on the front too, just to keep protection. Now, if you take care of your tanks and you maintain them, like I'm going to explain that I do, this is the second tank. As a matter of fact, this is the original tank that was in here. I just replaced the new one in here in the Truggy, Techno Truggy. Or no, I'm sorry, what am I talking about? This is I think this is still the original one. I probably should replace it, but there's nothing wrong with it. You know the old expression, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I check it for leaks all the time. I always check for leaks. That's one reason I was explaining to one of my Nitro brothers. I shut off my engine when I'm done by plugging this up with the end of my tuning driver. It has that little rubber thing, and the reason I do that is because that way you can check. If you go to plug the exhaust and it shuts off right away, you're golden. Your tank, you have no air leaks, everything's good. If you go to plug this up and it takes a second, kind of did it, and then shuts off, that means there's an air leak somewhere in your fuel system. Whether it's your lines, your tank, your lid, whatever. That's why. Some people they put the little thing up in the flywheel or whatever. I like to do this because I can check. Because I've had it where I went to plug it up and it didn't die right away. And then I was like, okay, well that's no bueno. And then I found out that I had an air leak. I think it was one of my hoses, one of my fuel lines. So that's why when I shut my engine off when I'm done, I plug this up and it should die immediately. If it doesn't die immediately, turn off, you have a leak somewhere in here. Somewhere in your tank or your lines. So anyway, I get all the fuel out of here, empty it out, whatever, and then I put rubbing alcohol. Now rubbing alcohol I use a lot because it's cheap. You can get like, I mean, small one like this is like, what, $1? I mean, you can get it even bigger. It's 70%, 50%. Obviously, the higher percentage, the better, stronger it is. But anyway, I spray this into my tank, okay, and then I take this compressed air and I put it on the line and I blow everything through it. So I'm circulating all the rubbing alcohol through all my lines. The whole point of it is you want to get all of your fuel out of all of this. The tank, don't leave any fuel in it. The lines, don't leave any fuel in it. Because if you do, no bueno. Your lines are going to start getting hard. Your tanks are not going to last. The reason my tanks, I hardly ever replace them, is because I maintain them like that every single time I run. I do not skip this. Just as much as you put after running your engines when you're done, or most people do, I would hope. That's just what I do to my tanks every time I run it. That's why I don't go through tanks like some people I know go through a lot of tanks. And another reason people go through tanks is too, if you mount your tank into your whip too tight, you want to have just a little bit of like a wiggle. If you put it in there too tight, when you're out there, especially if you're jumping and bashing and crashing and smashing hard, you will split the tank and they will get leaks. A lot of times it's right here because these are pressed together. They're like seamed together. I mean, even Adam Drake did a video about that. Don't put your tanks too tight in your whip, okay? No bueno. So anyway, yeah, so I get all the fuel out here. Also, another thing, do not leave fuel in your tank. I mean, in your bottle. If you have bottles, fuel bottles, because the little seals, rubber seals that are in here, it'll eventually, from the nitro fuel, it'll destroy them. And then these things will leak, and then they're no good. Then you toss them. I always, again, right now, can you guys see that in there? That's rubbing alcohol. I clean it out, spray rubbing alcohol, swish it around, and then before I get ready to fill it with fuel next time I use it, I just pour the rubbing alcohol out of it. So what do I use for, and then after you bump it a few times and get all the nitro fuel out of it, I take the air filter, this air filter, I take it off, okay, and I put like 3 or 4 drops in here, and then I'll just go like this, just to work it in there. It's already been done. What do I use? There's a lot of different things. RV Mods has a good oil, okay. Another good oil that I use most of the time is RC Renews After Run. You could also use 3-in-1 if that's all you have. This stuff is probably you can't even find anymore since they're no longer going to be around. I think I found a place that has some of this. If you can find it, Novarossi engine oil, highly recommended. If you have as much engines as I do, or even if you have a couple, and you're, a person that's at the level where you're opening up and maintaining and checking your engines. Because one thing I do when I'm done running is I pull my engine out and I pull the back plate off. Because just by bumping it, you're not going to get all the fuel out of it. And I don't want any fuel in there. So I'll take the back plate off. That way I can check, just inspect it to make sure it's still clean. You can do the microtic, run a swab around where the crank spins, the inside of that little rail that the balancing end of the crank spins in. There's that little channel. Rub it in there, and if it's clear like oil color, you're good. If it's black or dark, no bueno. You need to pull your engine apart, bearings and all, and you need to clean it, because that means there's dirt in there, and if you don't, you're going to wear everything in your engine, which you don't want. And you can also make your own oils. This is Aerocrol 3-in-1 MP Novarossi engine oil, and I think some kind of silicone oil I have. There's a bunch of stuff in here. Yeah, Marvel Mist oil I think too. So whatever, you can make your own little, what I call after run cocktail, or you can use the things that I just showed you, or the 3-in-1. But anyway, a few drops in here. I'd say maybe 3 drops in here, and I put 4 or 5 in my engine. Now once I put the drops in here and I put the plug back in, or actually I leave the plug out, once I put the drops in, I bump it again because I want to circulate it through everything, just to lubricate the engine really good. Then make sure, set your piston bottom dead center. If you want, mark it. I usually try to keep mine marked, put a black marker where it's at bottom. That way you don't have to try to guess where it is. But a lot of times I can just, as long as it rolls freely, I know it's not up in the sleeve. But I suggest putting a black mark, like a Sharpie, put a black mark, that way, either top or the bottom, that way you can see where your bottom dead center is. Then after that, I take my pipe off. I obviously clean my pipe. I polish them pretty much every time I run them. Especially my Novarossis, man, because you're not going to get these anymore. I want to take care of them. That's just me. You don't have to clean them all the time. I've seen people that got some nasty ass pipes. I look at their pipes, I'm like, damn. If you got to use a crock pot and you got to use all that shit to clean your pipes, man, come on. That's telling you something. Even, again, and I'll use his name, because I've been learning a lot from this guy. He knows his shit, that's for sure. Just like I learned a lot from Adam Drake, too. JQ even said, maintenance is key. If you're a guy that just wants to, and you're a new, and this is for newbies, if you want to just go out and run your shit and not do all this and put it away till next time, don't do nitro. Stop what you're doing. Do not do nitro. Get out of nitro. Okay, go do E-work. This is not for you. And I have no problem saying that. A lot of people don't like, oh, you can't say that to people. Why not? You know why I can say it? Because I can say it, because this is my channel. And like I said, I'm keeping it real. If you think if you want to just go and run your shit and put it away in the garage, nitro's not for you. This is something you have to maintain your shit. Okay? Otherwise, You're going to get frustrated when your shit breaks, when it doesn't last, when you have issues. Just because you don't maintain your stuff, okay? Very important. You need to maintain all of your shit, okay? That's why I'm even doing this video, because I know there's a lot of newbies. I've got like, I don't know, 100 new subscribers in the last month. And that's a lot for me. If I can get, if the Muggy ever gets you 1,000, you know what kind of milestone that is? Considering that everybody, that I'm the most hated, the most hated, the most, I mean, I'm the most hated guy in 8-scale Nitro. The people that know me personally, and you know who you are, and we talk all the time, you know why, you know? And that's why people hate JQ and Racing, because they don't like the way he's just real upfront and bold. I don't care. Like I said, this is not a comfort video channel where I'm going to, you know, massage your ego and blow smoke up your ass and tell that your TLR, Losi, and your Traxxas, and, you know, is the best vehicle there is. Now, the stuff that I said about TLR, are they a bad vehicle? No, they're not. I hear a lot of good things about Losi. The problem is, the root of the problem is for TLR and Losi is who owns them. Again, let me reiterate this to remind you, and I'm going to remind you guys every once in a while, as long as Horizon owns Losi, you are fucked. You are screwed. Okay? You're at their mercy, and you just pray to God they don't discontinue your shit that you get from them. Because that's their track record. Go look at their track record. The king of discontinuing anything good in Nitro is TLR Racing, okay, and Dynamite, and those are companies that are owned by Horizon. It's not a lot of those companies. TLR isn't a bad company. It's just unfortunately they're owned by, you know, the evil entity, I call them, the big evil, Horizon and Traxxas. Thumbs down, man. And one won't get into Traxxas. Like I said, all I will say about Traxxas is they have zero quality. If you can argue, give me an argument, and give me some proof, and state your case that Traxxas is good quality, by all means. We'll have that conversation, but I haven't had anybody tell me that yet. And again, people don't like when I say that. Oh, what's wrong with Traxxas? But come on, man, please. I own Traxxas. I own the first Traxxas, one of them ever released, 10th scale E-word, okay? The Bullet. I owned it. I owned a Sledgehammer. I owned lots of Traxxas. And I used to work on them, and I still do every once in a while, just to help people out, you know? But that doesn't negate the fact that they still suck because their quality is garbage, and they're a joke. So anyway, that's pretty much what I do to maintain my stuff. Long as you get all the fuel out of everything, then you're good to go. Another thing that I use to, if you want to put your lines like together, it's one of those I forgot what they're called for your fuel line. It's like a little, you can put it in the end and kind of join them together. The whole point of it, plugging this up, is until you get to cleaning it, you don't want everything dripping all over the place, whether it's the alcohol still in here if you put it in there, or if there's a little bit of fuel. That's why I plug them. I don't keep my needles closed after I'm done running the after run, bumping it through it or whatever. I open my needle up. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, dang it. One other thing, Muggy's breaking shit. If you want another good radio, and there's a lot of them that I've seen out there for pretty cheap, is the Sanwa radios. Sanwa radios are really good radios. I love this radio. It came with one of the whips that I bought, MT4. I mean, brand new. I think you can get them for like $300. But anyway, we will be running some shit, people. We're going to rip this. We're going to bust out the pea shooter, modded pea shooter. Then we're going to get back into this thing again. Like I said, I made a couple adjustments as far as clutch, and we're going to see how it goes. All right, people, that's pretty much it. If there's anything else that I think I covered or I didn't cover, no, that's pretty much it. But anyway, yeah, prevention is better than the cure. If you want your shit to last for a long time, you want to do, you know, less troubleshooting, and you want to do you know, if you want your shit to perform, take care of it. You know, that's a lot of it. A lot of it is making it last longer, make it perform the way it should, okay, and just as far as the engine being easier to tune, like I mentioned it to you guys before, you know, the braking is very important, and the way you maintain it is very important in your nitro engines, because it's going to make you, it's going to set you up for them to be tunable, stay tuned, last for a long time, perform great. So those are all key. Alright people, that's pretty much it. I got to get back to, it's probably cold now, I got to get back to, I'm going to heat that up, man. I'm going to have some more. That stuff, that facility's the bomb. Alright, so, like I said, no real shout-outs here. I mean, I don't really give a lot of shout-outs because nobody's doing anything but bumping their gums. Except for Wiggy Nitro, man. The guy, credit who credit's due. He's putting in the work. He's doing his thing. I don't agree, and I probably will never agree with a lot of things that he does. Probably at least 75% of the shit that he does, I don't agree with. But I can't, you know, I can't, I'm not mad at the guy for what he does. You know, it's his channel. He can do what he wants, just like anybody else. It's your channel. Don't let people dictate what you do. Don't let people tell you what to do. Don't let people influence you. You do what you want. There are a lot of times there's too many people to let other people get in their ear, and that makes their decisions on things sway. Weigh all the facts. Weigh all the truth. You know, what works for you. What makes you happy. And that's what this hobby's about. Whatever makes you happy is what you should do. Don't worry about what other people like or don't. I don't care. If I worried about that, I would have quit already. Like I said, I'm the most hated guy in 8-scale Nitro. And do you think I care? Hell no. Shout out. Oh, one more shout out though. Again, shout out to the thumbs down, man. My most loyal viewers. But that's pretty much it. Stay tuned. We got 5th scale heart coming. Pipe. It's taking a while, and I'm not really in a hurry with it because I got a lot of nitro stuff to do. I've got like I think I'm gonna get about 4 or 5 more modded engines that will be coming my way. Still looking for 2 more platforms. Haven't found, as far as 8-scale nitro, haven't found what I want yet. But we'll see. Who knows? Maybe you know, it might be a big surprise of what I get, or might not be a surprise. But anyway, we're gonna rip it, whip it. Trying to think if there's anything else I didn't cover. Oh yeah, make sure you take your. Let's see if you're running LiPo batteries, because I know a lot of people do. Make sure you balance your batteries out, or put them on storage, I should say, and even life batteries, you know, just to make them last longer. And you don't want anything, you know, burning up. So, alright people, that's all I got. I'm gonna go finish doing what I've been doing. Getting ready to do some ripping in the next couple days. But I think we're pretty much ready to go. After we get done running this, we are probably going to put the P3.28 RCR modded in here, or I might put it in the... No, I think I'm going to put it in the Mugen Truggy. I haven't ran it in here yet. Or I might even put it in the buggy. I was just thinking of putting it in the buggy for shits and giggles. It is fun when you run modified big engine inside of a nitro buggy. But she's looking pretty sexy. She's ready to roll. We got her bash body on there. I think I'm going to do another couple paint jobs too. So, alright people. I got to finish eating my pozole because that shit is a bomb. Catch you guys on the next one. Remember, my new slogan. Okay? Nitro Truggies are the true glory. But Nitro Buggies do pay the bills. Alright. Muggy Maniacs out. Peace.